I had a wonderful time accompanying the teachers and the administrators yesterday in the morning talk. And I got to share the stage with Dr. Ronnie Motilla of Miriam College Psychology Department. And I've heard about him many times, heard his name many times, but it was my first time to actually get to know him and also to listen to his very, very informative and inspiring talk. And yesterday morning, when I was listening to Dr. Ronnie, na-revive ulit yung interest ko at yung commitment ko sa bokasyong ito. So first, very, very insightful thing he mentioned. Di ba nowadays, it's so common for us to talk about mental health, mental sickness, ganyan. He talked yesterday about happiness. Diba? Happiness. And di ba may mga tao talaga, they're really people we meet who are just happier than most people, di ba? Hindi sila masyadong natitibag agad ng crisis. Despite crisis, they bounce back quickly. And there are also other people, I'm sure you know, konting setback, konting disappointment, depressed na sila. Diba? I'm sure you know of a lot of people like that. And Dr. Motilla mentioned that 50%, no, 50% of our, kumbaga, our happiness quotient comes from genetics. So, according to studies, I'm sorry, I forgot to remember the source, no? Certain people have alleles or chromosomes that are longer than others. And the longer the allele or the chromosome, the more parang tendency for you to be resilient, to nurture a parang happy disposition. And those who have shorter alleles, more prone to getting frustrated or even depressed. So 50% pala is genetics, di ba? And then he said, hihilahin at hihilahin ka talaga ng genetics mo. Because it's half of the equation eh. But he said that's not 100% of you. That's 50%, but 40% is voluntary control. Meaning 40% is still your choice. Diba? It's your choice to stay down, to lick your wounds, and to continue to overanalyze. Sabi nga niya, women have a tendency to get into rumination or overanalyzing. Yan, tayo mga babae, diba? Kunyari, he gave a very good example. Let's say you have a colleague, you're used to him or her smiling at you, and then one morning you come and inisnab ka, hindi ka pinansin. Most of us women would tend to ruminate or overanalyze and think, what did I do? Is it my fault? Galit ba siya sa akin? Ganyan, no? So there's a tendency to allow that. We give ourselves permission to ruminate and overanalyze, get frustrated, get sad, get depressed, etc. So he said, 40% is voluntary control and 10% is circumstances. Some of us are born into very difficult circumstances, poverty, sickness, family problems, diba? But that's only 10%. So very interesting first insight that happiness, diba? Happiness, or if you think about the opposite, which is sadness, depression, frustration levels, anxiety, diba? 50% is genetic. So though you might think you can't do anything about that, those are the genes that my parents passed on to me, think about the other half where we actually have control over. So he said it's true. Happiness is a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice that even if, say, we have shorter alleles than most people, if we're aware that we have short frustration levels, we get angry easily, or we're prone to getting sad over a disappointment, then the 40% needs to kick in, which is voluntary control. So voluntary control. So how do you nurture that? So he shared with us the framework of Dr. Seligman. Maybe some of you who are into positive psychology know Dr. Seligman's PERMA. PERMA. And he adds an S in the ending, which I'll share in a bit. So PERMA, first is to develop positive emotions. And he said, he shared about the three, sorry, mahangin sa labas. Magulong buko. He shared about the 3:1 ratio. So for every negative thought, negative experience you go through during the day, counteract that with 3 positive thoughts. So for example, na-stuck ka sa traffic, buisit yung boss mo, um, you had a problem with your husband, with a family member, di ba? Bad trip ka na. So syempre, the next setting, the next situation you're gonna enter into, you're gonna bring that negativity. So whoever you're gonna bump into will be a recipient of that negative energy. So may inis ka, short fuse ka, di ba? So he goes, okay, for every negative experience or feeling you go through, magpagpag ka muna, di ba? Pause for a while, take a pit stop somewhere, detour for a while, and think of 3 things that you're grateful for, 3 things that gives you a happy feeling. And he mentioned it might be, having a good meal, eating food that you like, you enjoy, uh, doing Zumba, diba? Or listening to your favorite song or singing. Yun, do 3 things or think of 3 things before you enter your next setting or next situation. So 3:1 ratio. Letter P, positive emotions. The second is engagement. So engagement means doing what you love and loving what you do. And he mentioned that there has to be a flow, diba? A flow in everything that we do. So right now, it might be good to ask, are you loving what you're doing and are you doing what you love? Diba? I mean, there's no perfect job, there's no perfect scenario, but as was mentioned yesterday in Christ the King Parish, it was Father Adolfo Dacanay. He said he read the prayer on disturb me, O Lord, diba? Disturb me, O Lord, when I get too comfortable. Disturb me, O Lord, when kumbaga parang when we reach that point of comfort or we reach that frustration level, it might be good to also check, am I still engaged, diba? Not engaged to be married, but engaged. Parang, do I still love what I do? Do I do what I love? Equals happiness. The third is R, relationships. So the call to nurture loving relationships. And he asked us a very simple question. How do you know if you are in healthy or how do you know if you're nurturing a healthy relationship? And the question is very simple. Does the relationship that I am currently in, diba, did it make me a better person? No? Did this relationship make me a better person upon entering it, and while I'm in it, is it making me a better person? So good to check all the relationships that we keep and water and nurture. Is it also making me better? Is it bringing out the best in me? M is meaning, diba? Finding meaning, finding purpose in everything that we do, the people we meet. I mean, some of the happiest people I know don't just enter their workplace, just for the salary, just for the work, just to fulfill an obligation. But they come to work because they know they fill a need. They know that they are filling a niche, diba? That perhaps only you or only they can provide. So yesterday, I was telling the teachers, many are called to the vocation of teaching, many are called to medicine, engineering, architecture, whatever that field is, diba? But for you to discover not just what you're good at, but to discover what it is that you really love and to be able to fill a need in the world using, purposeful engagement with the world. That's our long-term mission while we're here on earth. What gives meaning to your life and what gives meaning and blessing also to the others who come your way. Very helpful to remind ourselves, am I still doing something meaningful or am I just a robot, bundy in, bundy out and just filling an obligation? And the last is A, accomplishment. Diba? Accomplishment. Another factor that brings us happiness is to be able to celebrate our accomplishments, to be able to fulfill our goals. Sabi ni Doc Ronnie yesterday, don't just list the things that you need to do and accomplish, but do it. Diba? And as I said yesterday, faith without action is empty. Right? Faith without action is empty. So what is that mission? What is that accomplishment that is planted inside your heart right now that needs to be fulfilled? So PERMA, right? Those 5 things from Dr. Seligman. Dr. Ronnie Motilla added a sixth a key element to happiness. And he said, PERMA, P-E-R-M-A, is a Western concept. but to make it more Filipino, to make it more customized to us. We also believe that happiness is also grounded on our spirituality, on God. So he adds an S, and he calls it PERMAS, diba? And S being spirituality. And that's what I also shared yesterday, that our education is empty without spirituality. I mean, I've been to different schools, different, pedagogy, different curriculum. Some, Christian faith, values education is ingrained, part of the curriculum. And there are other schools who don't value it as much. And I believe that education is incomplete without spirituality, without a relationship with our Creator, and the call to becoming, not being, but becoming holy. That universal call to holiness. It's not just an invitation for the religious, it is an invitation to all of us, particularly us, the laity, because we feel of that pyramid, no? That pyramid, we're at the very bottom. We have number, 'di ba? There's strength in numbers. So whatever your profession is, and it's not just reserved for educators, formators, and parents, in your own workplace, 'di ba? PERMAS. He ended his talk by saying, you know, uh, my goal is to hit lives. HIT. And I think that's an invitation for all of us. Hit meaning heal, inspire, and transform. So, how about you? Have you been a source of healing, inspiration, and transformation for the people around you? Right? Whether you're a parent, a single person, an educator, have you been hitting lives recently? Despite the advancement in technology, social media technology, robotics, I think what is most important today is to bring back good old values, to bring back God in the classroom.